Alright, listen, this video is going to be shorter than it was originally because, oh my god, I had to record this a million times just to get this right. Even if maybe this isn't even the take that's going to be posted on fucking YouTube, but hey, we can only hope, right? So, today we're going to be doing What If I Was in Demon Slayer, whole story. I'm not doing that speech again, but basically the gist of it is that I'm not going to be taking any more Corey Kindred breaks, me crying wolf again, really, but I'm not going to give myself a time schedule, so maybe that's going to help me upload more because I don't do well with time limits and schedules and uploading whatnot, right? Okay, so thank you guys for 1.07k. Fucking love you guys. Never thought I would get this far. Honestly, it would be a blessing if we got any farther. Hit that, subscribe button, notification bell, like the video or dislike it. Depends on if you like it or dislike it. Really, because I'm not gonna beg for likes, but sort of am. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's get into the video. So right off the bat, right? This takes place at the beginning of Demon Slayer, right? One day, Tundra. This is actually before the beginning of Demon Slayer. He was taking the coal to the village as per usual, right? And he was going back home. Once he was going back home, he saw these three kids. One with brunette hair, porcelain white skin, beautiful hazel eyes, right? Then there was another with snow white hair, fucking pale blue eyes, and honest skin that mimicked fucking snow. Then there was the last black-haired kid, green eyes, like nature green eyes. Not as pale, actually a little more tan than the other two, right? He would call out the threes and he would call out the trio's name. Kento, Yuzuha, Kenji, you guys shouldn't wander off too far from the village or you might get lost. These woods are dangerous at night. And then the pale white-haired one would yell, "Don't worry, I brought a lantern." And then Tanjiro would be like, "Okay, stay safe. Go home," right? And this was a usual occurrence when Tanjiro would bring the coal to the village. So he would usually see them and tell them to stay close, right? And one day they were playing, they wandered off farther than they ever have, playing in the woods, and Kenji lit the lantern. They walked for a good while before the lantern got blew out, and Kenji has always had this sense. He was just like, he always had like a spider sense. It would tell him when to like dodge or, oh no, you're in danger type. So he was like, it's a demon. He assumed it was a demon, which it was, but yeah, he assumed it was a demon just from the aura and the feeling his senses were giving him. So he was like, and then the other two, they screamed. The other two screamed. Yuzuha and Kento, they screamed, yelling at the top of their lungs. He's like, guys, stop! You're gonna, get us caught. They were trying to calm down, but they can't. They're kids. There was a demon around them, so they were terrified. And the demon was impressed by the skill of this white-haired kid to realize it was a demon and not just some random person random like breeze that blew out the lantern, just like a random occurrence that caused the lantern to go out. He noticed that it was a demon. The demon realized that at all costs he must avoid this kid. So, but the white-haired kid's thought process, Kenji, his thought process was completely different. Also, shameless plug, I make music. Go subscribe to me on KYS Kenji if you really do love me, guys. Like, Come on. If you really do love me, go subscribe to me on KYS Kenji. That's where I make music, right? Shameless plug. Hey, how would you guys feel if I deleted all my what ifs and just made music? Would y'all still be subscribed? Probably not. That's okay. I still love you, right? All right. Anyways, okay. So the two that aren't Kenji's, they scatter. One going in one direction, the other going in the other. He chose to save his friend Kento, the male. There was two boys and one girl. He chose to save Kento because his thought process was the complete opposite of the demon. And he was like, since there's two of us, he would rather let two of us live than one. So, but that wasn't the case. And Yuzuha, yeah, she died. You could hear her screaming from edge to edge of the forest. And the white-haired kid, Kenji would pet Kento on the shoulder and be like, Kento, and then Kento would smack Kenji's hand. He's like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you save Yuzuha? He's like, I thought he would come for us. And they're just arguing. And then all of a sudden they hear Yuzuha stop screaming as they were like running towards her direction. And then they realized, and then they were like, oh, like, no. They heard Yuzuha stop screaming, which could only mean she's dead. And so Kento, he yells, he's like, Yuzuha! He's just like, he's crying. And their parents kept looking for them, but they were too distraught by the death of their friends that they couldn't even tell them what happened. They were just saying her name over again, Yuzuha, 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 and the parents were so confused. And until later that, like, the next day, her body was discovered, and her parents were fucking devastated. They came looking for Kenji, and Kento was like, why didn't you save my daughter? It's like we couldn't do anything. And then Kento felt especially guilty because he ran in the opposite direction and made Kenji choose out of his two friends in which he would save, because then he would have also felt a way if he were to save Yuzuha over himself. So Kento just cried. Kenji sat there and took vocal abuse? Vocal abuse? Not vocal abuse. Verbal, there you go. He took the verbal abuse of them yelling at him, reprimanding him, and was like, I wish you die. I wish you just die already. And then Kento, like, he really felt this. The next day, villagers were huddled around Kento's home, and when Kenji ran through the crowd, before he reached them, he could faintly hear the cries of his parents. And then when he went through, he saw Kento hanging from the ceiling with a note at his feet, which is a quote from a song that I listened to called Space Cowboy by Zilla Kami. You should really listen to it, because it's a really good song. I really like it. Anyways, Kenji read the note. It said, everything will end eventually. Every leaf will blow into the wind eventually. And so Kento was dead. And you would think that he would never want to see a demon ever again in his life. It cost him the lives of his two best friends. So why would he ever want to see one? Did he remember that it was Kento's dream to become this big, heroic demon slayer? And then Kenji in his mind was like, after I get my revenge, I'll be what you always wanted to. I'll become what you've always wanted to. So he took the practice sword out of Kento's room and the note, and he always kept them on. He had like a tiny little bottle around his neck with the note, the everything would end eventually, everything lethal blow into the wind eventually. It was like a little bottle. He tied it around his neck because it was like a necklace because he needed something to remember his friends. But he went to his friend's house. He went to Yuzuha's old childhood home, and he walked in even though her parents told him to never come near them ever again. Her big brother attempted to kill him, like when he was going into her room, her old room, well, her room after before she died, right? He was going into her room, and her big brother attempted to stab him with a knife. Kenji just like he smacked the knife away, and he just kept going on about his business. That's why brother yelled at him to just die, just fucking kill yourself, right? He's just like he's yelling all these like very hurtful things. Really, I would just cry if someone were to actually yell those things at me. And really, okay. Anyways, so yeah, I should really make Wattpad stories. I know my friend Wolf Juby, he makes Wattpad stories, Wattpad, whatever you want to call it, right? I should comment down below if I should write Wattpad stories and just read them to you guys. Would y'all like that? In the point of view of the storytelling aspect, like third person, or is that second person? He went to the, she did this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. But shut the fuck up. All right. Yeah. So Kenji went in her room and grabbed, because she had an assortment of flowers that would look good in Kenji's hair. Kenji never wore them because he thought they were too girly. He picked his favorite, which is a white and blue flower, put it in his hair. Because, yeah, to honor his friend. And he, for the next years, when the show starts, Tanjiro's 13, right? So, I'm gonna say Kenji, when the show starts, Kenji is 9. So all of this happened when Kenji was 7, because I'm saying this headcanon, Tanjiro is 11 when this all went down, and so now the canon part of the anime starts. Tanjiro, 13. Also gonna be changing like the time in which some people do certain things, like Tanjiro learning water breathing. In this headcanon, it's gonna take like 2 to 3 years. Tanjiro's gonna be like Tanjiro's gonna be. Bro, am I stupid? What the fuck? 13 plus 2, that's 15. Tanjiro is either gonna be 15 or 16, which means Zenitsu, who is 3 years older than Tanjiro, would be he'd either be 19 or 18. So yeah, regardless. So they're still the same characters, they're just aged up. Which means Nezuko would be 16 or 17. Anyways, so Kenji is in the start of the anime, he's 9. He has great sword technique, but he's gonna have to throw all that out of the window when learning a new breathing style. So he was just good for the time being. He was mediocre, I should say, right? He had good sword play, best sword play out of anyone that really doesn't have a breathing style that's not like an old guy with white hair and a long beard. Speaking of, that's I guess foreshadowing. Yeah, just call it that. Well, so yeah, it is foreshadowing. So what's happening is that Tanjiro, the whole thing with Tanjiro happens, and his family dying and whatnot, and Tanjiro is going off to Urokodaki for 2 years. Tanjiro is now 15, and then Kenji hears a rumor that Tanjiro is going to go train with this old guy, and that's why he doesn't come around anymore. And you're asking how did someone get these rumors? I don't fucking know. How does anyone get rumors in fucking anime? Really, to be honest. Yeah, like he's training with this old guy, so that's why he doesn't come around anymore. And then Kenji left his home, left everyone to go seek out Tanjiro and become stronger, become a demon slayer. Only at age 11, he was like, once he found some, he was on the brink of death, crawling on just his hands. He couldn't even use his legs anymore. Just crawling using his hands, dragging himself along. He found Urukadaki and Tanjiro, and Tanjiro knew this kid. And, Tanjiro knows what happened to the two kids, but because of the canon events. So when they died, then after they died, Tanjiro came back and was like, "Wait, why aren't the kids playing? Oh, you didn't hear? Yuzuha and Kenta died." And this also pushed Tanjiro because he looked at these kids as also like little brothers and sisters and a sister. He looked at those kids like family. So this also pushed him to want to become a demon slayer more. And he knew, and like when he went to go visit, he's like, he went to go see Kenji's parents. He was like, "Is Kenji all right?" He's like, "Well, Kenji hasn't been home in like 4 days," and he went out looking for Kenji. When he went to go home, after searching for Kenji, his family was dead. But yeah, Urukadaki and Tanjiro find him passed out on the ground, and then Tanjiro immediately picks him up, trying to see if he's like dead or not. Anyways, so Tanjiro stays with Urukadaki for 1 more year, which makes Tanjiro 16, to see if whatchamacallit even had the if Kenji even had the aptitude to learn water breathing. And then Urukadaki broke the news to him, saying, "Kid, you have heart, you have desire, you have soul, but you don't have the right sort of will, the right commitment. You are doing this for the wrong reason." And he realized that he was doing it for revenge. He was like, "I can't teach you, but I know someone who just might be able to. You have no patience, just like this person. Insert name that I'm going to think of later when we meet him, right?" Anyways, um, if you just climb up this mountain, if you can make it up this mountain, that will impress him enough to that will maybe impress him enough to even teach you his breathing. He's like, breathing. He's like, the breath of ice. And I know there are like some reasons that this can't exist. Like there were some reasons that someone said that this can't exist, but I just think it's a fire headcanon, and ice breathing would be like the more vengeful road of it'd be like the more like, if you want vengeance, you go get ice breathing instead of water breathing. Water breathing is for like the pure-hearted. You should say, yeah. I would say, right. Kenji, wanting revenge, goes up the mountain. He almost dies a couple of times. Then he realizes his friends, they died for just because he wasn't strong enough. And if he's gonna let a little bit of like coldness or like ice kill him, he should have just died a long time ago. So he just pushes himself, and he gets to the top of this mountain, like tippy top. There's only like a little platform, like I'd say like a football field's worth of land there, right? And I know you say there's a lot of land, but you gotta think of it. If you gotta think, how big really is football field? What out the stadium? Just like the plot of land at the top of the mountain. So there's the cottage. There's a cottage, and he kicks in his door, and he's like, "Are you Inoke? 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 I'm gonna say Inoke. Are you Inoke?" He's like, Inoke, okay. Are you Inoke? He's like, "Are you? Wait, no, I can do better." "Are you in okay?" And he kicks in the door. This 11-year-old kid kicks in the. No, wait, he's not 11 anymore. Tanjiro's 16, which means he's 12. This 12-year-old kid kicks in the door. He's like, "Are you in okay? If so, teach me." And Inoke glanced over at the kid, immediately jamming the hilt of his sword into the kid's chest. This didn't immediately knock the kid out, which impressed Inoke even more because this small child, this small fragile child, made it all the way up in the mountain without dying. He's like the first student I've had in forever, which means someone had to tell him. And then he thought about Urukadaki, and that means he made it to Urukadaki without dying. So this kid has to be something special, he thought. I'm not putting too much into this because Jesus Christ, you don't know how long it took me to even get this much of the recording done, and I'm not even sure if I'll get more done because my recording might corrupt in the middle of me speaking these sentences, right? So, anyways, let's continue. I'll give y'all 25. 25, I'll give y'all 25. If y'all fucking eat up that like button, then I'll have y'all guys a movie. How about that? I'll get y'all a movie to celebrate the beginning of 2022, or if I get it out before then, this will be a celebration for the ending of 2021. We're getting God of War next year. Fucking excited. Anyways, let's continue. So, he trained with the ice. Wait, no. He gets knocked back into the snow, and he's breathing like trying not to die because the cold is just getting to him, and you can see like the ice surging through his veins from outside of his body. And so the old man takes him inside quickly and warms him up, and when he wakes up he's like, "Oh, where am I?" And then Inoke is like, "Here, have some of this." Inoke looks like Killor's grandpa off of Hunter x Hunter. If you know, you know. It's yeah. The old man. Yeah. Killor's grandpa. So he just smiled, laughing, giving the kids some tea. He was like, "Yeah, of course." Little did he know, the tea had like this poison that worked kind of like antifreeze, and if the kid didn't die, then he would teach the kid ice breathing. And so he drank the tea, and there's the heartbeat sound effect that you hear in every anime playing the dum dum, and then his eyes open wide and he passes out again. But then, like, not even 30 seconds later, he shoots back up. When he passed out, he had a dream to where his friends, they were walking away from him. He's like, "You can't avenge us. Why do we need you?" And then they were walking away from him. He's like, "No!" And he wakes up. He's like breathing out this like when it's cold outside and you breathe out and it's like smoke. That's what he's like. That's what it is right now. He's like, he's like, you survived. So kid, tell me, do you really want to learn the breath of ice? And Kenji was all gung ho for it. He was like, of course, this means everything to me. He was like, all right, starts now. And you know those like the lamps that like attract demons? Oh, bro, when I tell you that, okay, this old man can move at fucking light speeds. So what he does is he know the fall from the mountain won't kill the kid because of how fucking sturdy he is. So he just throws the kid down the mountain, not like off a fucking cliff, Jesus Christ, but like he throws him down. He's like rolling down the mountain. He's like, all right, if you can you hear me? And then he's just like, yeah. What the hell was that for? He's like, if you can make it back up without dying, then you'll be able to use ice breathing. I mean, the breath of ice is what he would call it. He's like, okay. This man moves at light speed and places the demon lanterns left, right, and center all over the fucking the mountain, left, right, and center. So he Kenji climbs up the mountain, seeing demons left and right. But instead of trying to fight them all, he was being smart, dodging and ducking under them, dodging. And demons are just humans, but like evil, right? So they still have personality. He would be ducking and dodging them, making them hit each other, and then making them get into altercations, whether they would be able to eat the kid or the other one would be able to. And then when whenever they would like be arguing, he would just head off, behead him. He made it all the way up the mountain, and then the old man was like, "That took you a shorter amount of time than expected. It took me a month." Yeah, shorter than I expected. Well, that's people. Let's just say he wasn't as strong-willed as you. And he looked at him. He died? Yes, precisely. Okay, Inoke stays with him, teaching him all the forms. And he's like, to learn everything, like to finish your lesson. And this is after like a year. So he's 13, like Tanjiro's in canon. Tanjiro's 17 now, which means Nezuko is 18. Zenitsu's 3 years older than Tanjiro, which means Zenitsu's 20. Zenitsu is 20. Fuck. Anyways, I don't know the age of the Hashira, so we're not gonna go that far on this part. But I'll figure it out before I record the next part of this. All right. Anyways, and he's like, you have to cut this rock in half. He's like, just like Tanjiro did. He was like, well, here's the thing. You get one try. Then if you don't break it, you die. And he was like, wait, what? He was like, good luck. As Inoke went back inside, and he was preparing his swing, but right before he would hit the rock, he would be like, wait, what if I don't cut it in half? So every time he was just about to hit it, he would stop himself, and then these two spirits appear, just like, actually no, only one appears, and he's like, come on, man, it's really not that difficult. And he was like this laid back, he kind of looks like Shanks from One Piece. He kind of looks like Shanks. He was like, come on, man, it's not that difficult. He was like, yeah, but like, what if I don't? He's like, yeah, but what if I don't cut it in half? Really, just calm down. Hesitation leads to disaster. He didn't know what that means. I mean, he didn't know what that meant, because he was like, well, this is life and death. If I don't do this, then I'm going to die. And he was like, whatever you say, man. Like, he's just laid back and chill. And he asked, who are you? He's like, I am your inner thoughts. I am what you were thinking. I am you. And then Kenji's like, what? He was like, no, I'm just joking. I was a student here a long time ago. How long ago? It's hard to say. They just conversated, and yeah, they just conversated for a while. He's like, okay, I think I'm ready to break the rock, because he finally understood. The test wasn't about like him cutting it in half in one swing, because no one can cut that rock in half with one swing. Although, except for the main character, because plot armor. But the test was actually to see if he would hesitate, even like in a moment of life and death. Would he hesitate just because it would cost him his own life? Yeah, it's like it would cost him his own life. and he swung and cleaved the rock smooth in half. Um, in actuality, Inoke never went inside, and Inoke could not see the the Shanks looking guy. I'm gonna call him just call him Blade. I don't know. Yeah, call him Blade. He could not see Blade. Blade was one of his students, and so he cannot see Blade. He was like, "Who are you conversating with, kid? Uh, you could you not see him?" And he was like, "Son, what are you talking about, son?" And he was like, "Could he not see him? Was he a ghost?" And he thought to himself, he's like, "Well done. I wasn't actually expecting you to cleave it in half. Although it took you a while to figure it out, that's what the true essence of being a demon slayer is, thinking of others' lives above your own." And then he asked, was not cleaving it in half gonna kill me? It's like, no, I just wanted to give you a bit more incentive to like think, or I'm saying to think. And he's like, dang it, old man. It's just like they have a Jiraiya Naruto type relationship. I'm making all these comparisons to different animes. I hope you like it actually, because I'm really enjoying all the parallels and stuff. Anyway, so he's now 13. He's 13. Tanjiro 17. Um, Nezuko 18. Zenitsu 20. Or was it Inosuke that was 13? Regardless, we can make Inosuke 17 as well, because fuck, I don't care. um, it's time for the test, whatever it's called, the final selection. As he's heading down the mountain, he's stopped by Inoke. It's like a blizzard going on, so it's very hard to see. Inoke gives him the sword, and it's like light blue, like crystal. It's like, what is this? And he was like, the one true blade of the breath of ice. And he's like, I know, what a badass thing. And so, old man, I don't understand you sometimes, but are you sure you want to give me this? He was like, of course. I won't be needing it. And then he starts coughing. He was like, what do you mean? The antifreeze in my blood is wearing out, so any minute now I'll die. And he's like, what? You can't die. He was like, kid, having a student as successful as yourself would be enough for any old master to feel like his life was complete. As the old man falls over onto Kenji catches him, and he starts crying. It's like, yeah. It's like he's yelling, like he's screaming at the top of his lungs, crying. As the old man died with a smile on his face. And that's where we're gonna leave this part off, because Jesus Christ, I said I was giving y'all 25, I gave you 34. Don't complain about me not uploading or anything, okay? Just hit the like button so y'all can squeeze this movie out of me, boost me for everything I'm worth. If y'all really did enjoy though, please hit the like button, because that helps a lot. Check my stats. Been at an all-time low because I don't upload. But yes, please guys, it would mean the world to me if You just like and subscribe. Okay. I know I'm rambling. See you guys. Hopefully not in 6 months. Love you guys.